What's up, everyone? Guess who's back again? Yes, that's right. I am finally back. It has been a long time coming. It's just been a very long, drawn-out process of moving. And then right after I moved, I got sick, which never seems to happen, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's just been a process. And I was waiting. I wanted to do a movie room tour, but I'm nowhere near having everything done the way I want it to, and I want to make sure I'm finished with the movie room and everything else before I do a video for it. So I figured until then, I'm going to try and get back into live streaming here in a couple weeks or so, and I'm going to try to roll out some collections. So today we're starting with part one of my Steelbooks. It is going to be all my studio releases, and it's not even all of them. So I'm going to do probably 3 different parts for Steelbook collection. And then I'll go into probably like my 4Ks and Blu-rays and boutique labels, different things like that. I'm still working on getting some more shelves put up. So far I have, I think 9 shelves put up. So yeah, I have 3 over here and then 6 in the movie room. And I'm going to put 3 more in front of me. And this is not where I will film videos. This is just a temporary thing. I haven't figured anything out for that yet because I don't have anywhere to film. So this is just a temporary spot. But hopefully you enjoy the video. I appreciate everybody who has stuck with me and reached out. I don't necessarily like taking a break. Sometimes it's necessary. You got to work on yourself, focus on yourself. Life gets busy, things like that. I hope I'm back for good, but you never know what happens. I'm very, very busy, and now I have my own place, and so, yeah, just trying to stay busy with that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this intro and show you my Steelbook collection, or at least part of it. All right, let's see if I remember how to do all of this. I can hardly remember how to record videos anymore. So, getting started with the first one. We're going to go in alphabetical order. We're going to start with all my studio releases first, so you won't see any boutique labels here. We've got 10 Cloverfield Lane. I've seen this once. Yeah, just one time. Watched it with my buddy, I believe. I was a fan. It's pretty good. It's not my favorite movie in the world, but I enjoyed it. I like the cast in that one. Next up, we've got 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. I think this is Michael Bay's definitely one of his best films. Probably top 3 for me. Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2 would probably be the first 2 favorites, but I love 13 Hours. I think he's in his wheelhouse with that one in particular. Next up, we have got 21 Jump Street. I think this is pretty funny. I'm not the biggest Jonah Hill or Channing Tatum fan, but it is pretty funny. It's not my favorite movie in the world, not my favorite comedy, but they're funny. Next up, 22 Jump Street, which is also just on par with the first one. There's definitely some funny moments. These 2 are pretty funny, but once again, they're not my favorite in the world. All right, next up, we've got a double pack of 21 and 22 Jump Street. You already heard my thoughts on those. There's the back of that one. Sorry if I'm not going to show off the front and back on all of these. Trying to get through it as quick as possible. Next up, we have got 300. I've actually never seen this. This is something I have never seen. So I believe I have a 4K of it somewhere. I'm not sure. Next up, 1917, which is one of my favorite war films of all time. I think Parasite is a great movie, but I wish 1917 won Best Picture that year. I think it was more than deserving. Parasite's great as well, but huge 1917 fan. The fact that they shot it all in one take and then they kind of have a cut, and, you know, obviously it's done in multiple takes, but we as viewers can't even really tell. They do such a good job with the editing, and you can't even tell there's different takes and cuts. All right, next up, The Addams Family, which is actually something I still have yet to see, but I did buy this 4K Steelbook. I love the purple on it. I think it's beautiful. I still have never seen The Addams Family. Another one that I have never seen is Airplane. Spoof movie from the either early 80s or late 70s. Something a lot of people had wanted me to do that I've been going through so far and doing is I created a Letterboxd list on my Letterboxd page of all the movies I own, and I will find out exactly the percentage of movies that I've seen. I'll go through and figure out which ones I've seen. Some I'm not sure of, but yeah, I'm hoping I've seen over 50% of my movies, and it'll be nice to find out how many different titles I own. It'll be cool to see if I own like 2,500 titles, how many duplicates I own, things like that. So next up, we've got Alien. I just watched this for the first time probably 2 years ago or last year, I think it was. I think it's a great movie. I probably missed my window on seeing it, so it wasn't quite as nostalgic for me, but I really enjoyed it. The problem was I had seen that really iconic scene of the alien coming out of the guy's chest a billion times, so that scene wasn't as iconic or profound for me. Next up, Alien Covenant, which I did see this in theaters. I actually saw this before I saw the original Alien, and I did not really care for this. I thought it was okay at the very best. Alien vs. Predator Requiem. This is a zombie exclusive. I really love how is that embossing right there? The edges right there, I love that. Yeah, it's actually probably debossing. But anyways, I don't think I've seen this. I've seen the original Alien vs. Predator. I don't think I've seen Requiem, which is the sequel. So, all right, next up we have got Alita Battle Angel, I believe is the exact title. Yep, and it's very black on the back there. But I did see this. I've seen it once. I think that this looks incredible in 4K, and I really liked it, and I didn't expect to enjoy it that much. So I was very happy with that one. Next up, we've got Allegiant. It's one of the 3 Divergent movies. I have seen Divergent. I don't know if this is the second or third one. I think I've seen all 3. I know I've seen the second one, and I know I've seen the first. I really like the first one. So I'll have to revisit all 3 of them at some point. American Assassin is up next. This is not the greatest movie in the world, but to me, it's underrated. I am a fan of this one. I think it's not, like I said, it's not perfect, but I am biased because I love Dylan O'Brien. I really like the Michael Keaton. I love the cast overall in this one, so big fan of that one. It's not, like I said, not the greatest, but I'm a fan. American Sniper, directed by Clint Eastwood, who is one of my favorite directors. I really like American Sniper. I rewatched it again last year, I believe, on Memorial Day, maybe for like my second or third time, and it still holds up. It's a great movie. Great war movie. American Sniper is excellent. All right, next up after that, we have got Annabelle, which is an entire universe that I have not seen. I've never seen any of the Conjurings or Annabelles. I'll have to give them a shot at some point, but I hated Paranormal Activity, in case anybody doesn't know, and so I'm a little skeptical about seeing these movies because I feel like they're probably similar to those, but I could be completely wrong. I'll have to give them a shot. I'm willing to. It just hasn't happened yet. Apocalypse Now is something I also have not yet seen, but I definitely need to. Francis Ford Coppola directed that. Yeah, I gotta get around to that. I know there's like 3 or 4 different cuts, so I gotta figure out which one to watch. And then next up we have got Atomic Blonde. It does not have the title on the front or the back or anything like that, but you got it on the spine there, and there's your back of it. I believe this is a 4K. I've seen this once. I haven't seen it since. I think there's a great scene towards the end that it kind of all takes place on a stairwell with her. That's a great action sequence. It's like done in one take, and it's great. It's excellent. I enjoyed the movie. I don't think it's great, but I definitely enjoyed it. So I am going to what I'm going to do in this video here is I'm going to cut, and as you can see the shelf behind me right here, that is where these Steelbooks came from, and then I'll keep going row by row. All right, moving on to that next row here, we have got Baby Driver. This is probably one of my top 10 or 15 favorite films of all time. I absolutely love it. I'm not the biggest fan of the color. I don't like yellow on Steelbooks very much, but I just don't think this Steelbook is quite as nice as it could have been. So here's Baby Driver, one of my favorite films of all time. I just recently rewatched it, and it holds up every bit. Love everything about this movie. Here's the Blu-ray Steelbook. I think it's part of that like Project Pop Art line, but this is a much better Steelbook if you ask me. I'm a bigger fan of this one. So that is the Blu-ray. Next up, we've got Backdraft, which is in my probably top 5 favorite films of all time. I absolutely love Backdraft. I think it is just super nostalgic to me. Came out my birth year, 1991. I am just a huge fan of Backdraft. I love the cast. I love everything there is to love about Backdraft. All right, next up, we've got Back to the Future Trilogy, I believe this is. Yeah, so 30th anniversary trilogy. I'm glad to have finally watched all 3 of these. So I didn't watch them until a few months ago. It was actually the first time I watched all 3 of them. I did it in a matter of 2 nights. I loved the first one, absolutely adored it, gave it 5 stars. The second one, I was not a huge fan of. Now, I watched them back to back. I thought the second one was very much a lot of the same thing as the first one. But I did watch these back to back, and when these came out, it was like a couple of years apart. So people were probably clamoring and excited for a new Back to the Future. Me, I was like, I'm just watching 90% of the same thing. I really wasn't a fan of that. I didn't really care for that. I thought it was okay. I was not a big fan of the second one, though. I thought it was just too much of the same thing, just rehashing it and not as good. And then the third one, I really did like. I loved it. I think the third one is better than the second one, in my opinion. I love that Marty McFly gets a little, Doc gets a little bit of a storyline, some more storyline. He gets a romance in that one. And I just love the Western setting to it. I was a big fan. Next up, Bad Boys. This or Bad Boys 2 is probably my favorite Michael Bay film. Hard to say. I love the little bossing right there. And then even this is as well. So that's a Zavi exclusive. We got Bad Boys 2 here, which is also a Zavi exclusive. And this is I probably put this one a little bit above the first one. Mostly because it's a little bit funnier. It's a lot more action-packed, I'd say. I don't know, like there's so many funny scenes that make me laugh out loud, like fall on the floor laughing in Bad Boys 2. I love Bad Boys 2. Here is Bad Boys for Life, which I was also a huge fan of. I thought they did a great job with this. It's different directors. Beautiful Steelbook, especially the back of it right there. Yeah, I was a big fan. There is a very sad death in this one. I won't spoil it to anybody who hasn't seen it, but that was very sad, especially because I loved that character. But there's that. Next up, we've got Bad Boys 1 and 2 double pack. This was a Best Buy exclusive at the time. All right. Next up, we've got Battle Los Angeles. This movie gets a lot of hate. I'm not necessarily the biggest sci-fi fan in the world. I love Battle Los Angeles. I was a huge fan of this movie when I saw it in theaters. There's the back of that Steelbook. I was a massive fan. I thought Battle Los Angeles was really good, and then I realized everybody kind of hated it, it seemed like. Beetlejuice, hot take here. I'm not a fan. Not my cup of tea. Some people are not going to like what I have to say about some of the Steelbooks I pull, or some that I haven't seen, like a lot of classics, or some that I'm just not interested in that I got in like a sale from somebody that gave me a bunch of Steelbooks. But Beetlejuice is one of those. Just wasn't a big fan. I'll have to revisit it, but it's just not my cup of tea, not my style. Everybody's got a style, right? That's not mine. Another Beetlejuice Steelbook right there. I don't have the 4K. I believe there is a 4K Steelbook. I'm pretty sure I don't have that one. Better Off Dead. This was okay. It's pretty funny. It's not great. I want my $2. It says on the back there. I think this was an FYE exclusive. Got re-released recently, I believe. Next up, we have got Beverly Hills Cop. So I've actually never seen any of the Beverly Hills Cop yet, but my buddy Chris has recommended all three to me, put them on my watch list, so I got to get around to them at some point. I got the second one on 4K. I need to get the first one on 4K, and then I have to find the third one. All right, The Birds on 4K. This is probably, definitely one of, if not my favorite Hitchcock films. I love The Birds. I think The Birds is an excellent film. All right, Black Hawk Down, top 3 favorite films of all time. It is probably my 3rd favorite film of all time. It is my number 1 favorite war movie of all time. I wish that they would have the title on the front. I wish I had the 4K slipcover, but I do not own that. I love Josh Hartnett, especially in the late 90s, early 2000s. He was my favorite actor at the time. I absolutely love Black Hawk Down. This movie just wrecked me. It made me fall in love with war movies. I have nothing but good things to say about Black Hawk Down. It is something that just means the world to me, that movie. All right, next up we've got Bloodshot. Another one with no title on the front. There's your back of it, and then your spine. This was okay. It was actually the very last movie I had seen in theaters before the pandemic hit, before they quarantined everybody and the theaters closed down. So that was the very last movie I had seen in theaters. The Blues Brothers. This is, I believe, the 4K Steelbook of this one. This one was another one I hadn't seen until a couple years ago for the first time. There's a theater out by me in, is Westmont or Woodridge? Not too far, and they have the car and the Blues Brothers on top of the building. It's a pretty cool movie theater. A lot of like memorabilia and stuff in the theater too. It's really cool. But the Blues Brothers, I really like this movie. This is a great movie. It's very fun. It's a classic. Another Blues Brothers right here. I have quite a few Steelbooks of the Blues Brothers, a couple other ones as well. Here is the Bohemian Rhapsody. I am not a massive fan of like music biopics. Some I am, some I'm not. This is one I have not seen, but I haven't seen Elvis either. I don't know how I feel about this, so it might be a while before I get around to it, but I will at some point. I found it for a good price at Half Price Books, and I snatched it up because I hadn't seen it. All right, next up we've got The Book of Eli. This is something that I absolutely love. I'm a huge fan of Denzel Washington. Mila Kunis is in this. Gary Oldman. I think The Book of Eli is an incredibly well-made film. This is such a good movie, and it is a beautiful Steelbook, so there's that one. All right. Moving on, next up we've got the entire Bourne Identity franchise, which I've actually never seen any of them yet. I need to go ahead and binge watch. There's Bourne Supremacy. Binge watch all of them. I got all of these Steelbooks from a friend of mine on Instagram for a very good price. I ended up getting about 100 or 150 Steelbooks from him. Probably 100 or so. Maybe a little bit less or something like that. All of these came from him, except this one. This actually just recently came out from Best Buy, but yes, I need to get around to watching all of those Bourne movies. All right, next up we've got Boys in the Hood. I have not seen this in ages. I think I've only seen it once. I was a huge fan of this and also Menace to Society. I need to rewatch Boys in the Hood on 4K extremely badly, and that is the 4K Steelbook of it. I love Boys in the Hood. I think it's a great movie. Also another Steelbook of Boys in the Hood there. So it's very similar here with the two. Kind of the shots, the faces, I guess. But yeah, I need to check that one out really badly. Again, I need to revisit it. Braveheart, I've only seen this once, and it was probably a few years ago. Some incredible quotes in this, incredible movie, incredible cinematography, directing, acting, everything about this movie is excellent. Braveheart is such a guy's movie. Breakfast Club is up next. Hot take here, I wasn't a big fan. I don't think that this is all that everybody makes it out to be. I don't think any of the characters are very likable. Maybe that's the idea. Maybe it's because I couldn't really relate to any of the characters. I don't know, but I didn't like Breakfast Club nearly as much as everybody else. I really didn't like it at all. I think it is a below average film for me personally, but I know it's beloved and everybody loves it. It's probably my least favorite John Hughes movie. No offense to anybody, of course, though. I have not seen this. I believe this is Bridge on the River Kwai. I have not seen that one. Bumblebee. I thought this was really good. I've only seen it once, I believe. This is the 4K, and then here is the Zavi exclusive of it. So there's the two. I thought it's really good. Bumblebee was much better than some of the later Transformers movies. Buried, with Ryan Reynolds here. Right there. This movie takes place all in one place. Absolutely in one place. It does not go anywhere else. He is the only actor in this, except for voice actors on the phone. And I think Buried has potentially, in my opinion, for me personally, the greatest ending in any movie ever made. It is easily top 3 for me. It is probably my favorite ending of all time. And I've only seen the movie once, but that ending will stick with me for the rest of my life. And I cannot wait to revisit that movie. But I have to do it with somebody else because I want to show somebody that movie that hasn't seen it. Buried is one of those films that I think over time, over the years, grew on me more and more. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend checking out Buried at least once. The Butterfly Effect is probably top 15 favorite films of all time for me. I absolutely love this movie. One of my best friends, Chris, is a huge fan of The Butterfly Effect. He loves that Steelbook as well there. So yeah, Butterfly Effect is incredible. I love that idea of how they shot the movie and just going back and forth and trying to change your past. And I think that there's a lot of great takeaways in Butterfly Effect. And I love Ashton Kutcher in that. Amy Smart's great. The rest of the cast is great. We got Cabin Fever up next. This is one of those older Zavi exclusive Steelbooks back when they were like, this was like $9 I got it for, this Cabin Fever Steelbook. Beautiful Steelbook here. This is one of the goriest movies, bloodiest movies. I absolutely love Cabin Fever. I think it's incredibly well made. I think it's bloody, it's fun, and Cabin Fever is just a great time. Just a great time. All right, Captain Phillips is up next. I also think this has one of the best endings of all time. I love Captain Phillips. I've only seen it once, a couple years ago. I did not see it in theaters. Captain Phillips, that ending, Tom Hanks acting at the very end of this movie. If you haven't seen it, you gotta watch the movie, but definitely watch that clip of the last 4 or 5 minutes of Captain Phillips. It's, in my opinion, the best acting, or some of the best acting I've ever seen in film in my entire life. That scene with the paramedics, I guess, like I was reading about it, they hired real paramedics to do their real job. So there's no yes, they're paid actors, but it was paramedics, real paramedics, I guess, from what I was reading, so that they could get the most genuine response. And Tom Hanks acting at the end of that movie had me in tears, not because it's overly sad, because of his acting and how incredible it was. Seriously, that ending of Captain Phillips broke me. I mean, I was just in tears. That it was a remarkable acting performance. I mean, Tom Hanks is always good, but that in particular was incredible. Carlito's Way, my buddy Nick, shout out to him over at Movie AV Impulse. Huge Carlito's Way fan. It's one of his favorite movies. I believe it might be his favorite gangster film of all time. He's told me to see it. My dad wants me to see this one. I need to get around to seeing it, and that is the 4K Steelbook of it, so I really need to see that. We've got another Carlito's Way right here. This is a Blu-ray Steelbook I ended up picking up at FYE on Black Friday, I believe. Something I'm excited for. Casper. I just rewatched this for the first time in a very long time. In October. I thought it was good. It's still fun. It's a little nostalgic to me, but it's not the greatest movie in the world, but it's fun. All right. Next up, we've got Catch Me If You Can. This is one I actually have not seen yet, so I'll have to definitely get around to checking that out. Cat's Eye, another one that I haven't seen. That is not the one... No, that's Cat People. I was thinking of Cat People that Scream Factory put out. But no, I have not seen this or Cat People, actually. I have not seen Chappie, so I ran into like 3 here in a row that I have not seen. But that's that Steelbook. Next up, we've got Charlie's Angels. This is the original one. Let's see if I know all these actresses. So we got Lucy Liu, Drew Barrymore, and Cameron Diaz. And there's your front of it. This is a 4K Steelbook. I am like 99% sure. Another one with no title on the front. But yeah, I've seen Charlie's Angels only like once, and I saw the remake with Elizabeth Banks directed, and not the greatest. Chernobyl Diaries. Shout out to my buddy Chris. He loves this movie. He's a big fan of I believe he's a big fan of Chernobyl Diaries. I'm not the biggest fan. It's okay. Found footage isn't like my favorite genre. Children of Men. I haven't seen this yet. Need to see that. Clive Owen. The back of it's very plain. Bought that on Black Friday, I believe, as well. All right, this is one of my favorite Steelbooks. Friends till the end, remember? Yeah, this is the end, friend. But yeah, Child's Play. My buddy Fish, his name is Andy, so I always call him Andy Fish Barkley. So you guys could start calling Fish Andy Fish Barkley. It goes. It honestly fits. Next up, we've got Christine. Very nice Steelbook in the front of it. I love Christine. Shout out to Tim. It's his favorite. I believe it's his favorite John Carpenter movie. Yeah, it is. And I think Christine's excellent. I think it is John Carpenter's best work. This and Halloween probably. But it's hard for me to like choose Halloween over this because I just think Christine's so good. I absolutely love Christine, and I'm not a big fan of like possessive type of movies, kind of like that, where a car comes to life, but that movie works so well. Christine is so good. The cast is so good. And you got a young Kelly Preston in that too. A Christmas Story. I am not a fan of this. I've only seen it once. I didn't get around to rewatching it like I wanted to, but I did not like this. And Bob Clark directed this. He directed Porky's and Black Christmas as well. And I didn't like Black Christmas, so I don't like his Christmas movies, but I love Porky's, but I did not like Christmas Story or Black Christmas. Clash of the Titans. I think I've seen this one, or Wrath of the Titans, or I've seen both. I don't know. Either way, they're not memorable in my opinion. I think I saw that one in theaters. I thought it was okay. A Clockwork Orange. I really liked the first half of this. I absolutely couldn't stand. I was bored out of my mind in the second half. I feel like Stanley Kubrick is very infamous and famous for splitting his movies into two halves, and I don't know why, but it doesn't work in this or Full Metal Jacket for me a ton. I think the first half, it starts really well in this, and same with Full Metal Jacket, and it doesn't really end as well. Now, Full Metal Jacket's a much better film in my opinion. I love that movie. I think this is well made. I just really was bored and hated the second half of this movie, but I was really captivated by the first half. I think the cinematography, I think the camera shots, I think it's a really well-made film. I was very captivated. I just get very lost and got very bored with the second half. Clueless is up next. This is a really cool Steelbook, the way it blends together there, and then there's your back of it. I've seen this like once as a kid. I thought it was really cool. Coming to America, something. This is like a 4K Steelbook for like $8, and it comes with a poster on the inside. I have not seen Coming to America. All right, next up, another Conjuring movie I have not seen. I have not seen any of those. Creed. This is actually, I think I got one of these are from Zavi and one's from that guy ended up selling me, and you look at the difference there. So one's from Zavi, one's a Target exclusive. I don't know which one is which, but either way, I absolutely love Creed. It is one of my favorite films of the last 10, 15 years. I saw the first one. I think I saw that. I know I took my dad to see the second one in theaters, which is right here. And there's a lot of father-son elements to the second one. And I think it's just as good. I just love boxing movies in general. Absolutely love boxing movies. My dad was a boxer when he was younger. He won the Gold Gloves when he was like 18 years old in Chicago. So, yeah. And this I also got from that guy on Instagram. And I think this is maybe rust, actually. I'm not entirely sure. This might be like a rusted Steelbook. I don't know. Or just a bunch of scratches. Whatever. It came with a bunch of other Steelbooks. So that's the Daniel Craig collection. I don't think all of them. It's like the first 3 or something, or 4. I don't even know. I've only seen like maybe one of those. I'm not sure. Next up is Dark Phoenix. I have not seen Dark Phoenix. Is that like a X-Men movie? Yeah, I think so. I haven't seen, I don't think, any of the X-Men's. All right. moving on. Dark Tower. This is a 4K Steelbook I still have not gotten around to seeing yet. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And then there's War for the Planet of the Apes. I've seen the first of these three, and I think they're coming out with a fourth one in 2024. I've only seen the first one. I have not seen the next two, but I've heard the third one with, I believe, Woody Harrelson is absolutely incredible. And I'm pretty sure I have all three of them somewhere. 4K or something. Deadpool. I mean, what's there not to love about Deadpool? I absolutely love the first Deadpool. It's such a fun time in the theaters. Ryan Reynolds, great. Deadpool 2, this is probably like one of my heaviest, just standard Steelbooks. I don't know what is in here, some art cards, and some other stuff, but this thing has weight to it. So Deadpool, or this is the first one, yeah, still. This is like, is this a 3-year anniversary or something, or like 2-year anniversary? I don't know, but it's another Steelbook, and I don't have Deadpool 2 here because it's in a different section on this wall here. We'll get around to it at some other point, but yeah. The Departed. This is a Martin Scorsese film. This is a very good movie. It's one of his best. He makes a lot of good movies though, so. Deepwater Horizon, Mark Wahlberg. I think this is a Peter Berg movie. It's one of those three or so that Mark Wahlberg did with Peter Berg, kind of. Very good one. True story. All of them were based on true stories. And Dylan O'Brien's in this, and Dylan O'Brien is one of my favorite actors. I think Deepwater Horizon's excellent. I think it's not like a perfect movie, but it is a very good movie. It's like a 4 out of 5 for me, probably. All right, Desperado. I've never seen this. I don't know much about this. There's the back of it, one of those Project Pop Art, I believe. Yeah. Is Scott Derby the one who does all of these artworks on these Steelbooks? I guess I'm sure I'll find out. Despicable Me 3. So there's 3 of these. I haven't seen, I don't even know, is this a Zavi exclusive? This is another one I got during that Zavi or Instagram sale kind of the guy sold me. I am not big into animation, so I haven't seen a lot of those that I pull. I haven't seen a lot of them. And it's funny because I have a Disney section, and I actually really don't like the company Disney at all for the most part. So I don't know why I did that, but it's because Disney has so many Steelbooks and they stand out, I guess. All right, Detective Pikachu. I've seen this once. Ryan Reynolds plays Pikachu, I believe, yeah, and the voice of Pikachu. This movie is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed Detective Pikachu. I had a lot of fun with it. I saw it in theaters. I haven't seen it since, but it's honestly pretty action-packed. It's got some funny moments. I really like Detective Pikachu. Next up, Die Hard. This is, what, the 30th anniversary. Classic, great Christmas movie. Absolutely love Die Hard. Die Hard, the collection here. Yeah, you're going to get all 5 Die Hards. This is so cool how they have this set up. I honestly really, 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 really like this. That is awesome. So you get your kind of the shotgun shells of little shells or the casings of each movie. It's really cool. I like that. And all 5 of them, I've seen all 5. I think, I don't even know if I've seen all of the 5th one. I know everybody's going to be like, you don't have to see A Good Day to Die Hard. I've seen it. It's probably, I don't remember it because it's not memorable. But I think the first 4 are great. I love the second one. I think the third one's great. And the 4th one has a lot of fun moments as well. Justin Long, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Fun one. District 9. I don't like this movie. I've seen it once in theaters. I got to revisit it at some point. I did not like District 9. In theaters, I didn't. A long time ago. What was that? 2012, 2013. Divergent. This is that first one I was talking about. I love this movie. I was a big fan of the first one. I thought it was really good. All right, next up, we kind of got a double-sided steelbook here, Django Unchained. So there's the front, and there's the back. I guess you could put it either side, but obviously you're going to do that. So you got your spine showing. Django Unchained is great. It's definitely one of Quentin Tarantino's best. I mean, but he's made some really great films. Here's another Django Unchained steelbook right there. And here's another Django Unchained steelbook. I had to rebuy this because the damn one I got, somebody sent me on eBay, and it did not come with the disc. I hate that. So I bought another copy. And I really didn't need to because I obviously have so many copies of it, but I'm an OCD freak and I don't like missing disc in my Steelbook. All right, next up we've got Do the Right Thing. I still haven't seen this, and I need to do the right thing and watch this, right? Yeah, I really need to watch Do the Right Thing. Beautiful 4K Steelbook. I ended up getting that used at, I think, Disc Replay on Black Friday, and I was like, oh my God, the thing's out of print. I couldn't pass up on it. All right, Bram Stoker's Dracula. I have not seen this movie. I need to see this. And it's in the wrong section. I have it under D's for Dracula, but this needs to go under B for Bram Stoker's Dracula, because that's what it would be considered. Yeah, I have a few of those I messed up on. All right, next up we've got Drive. Top 10 favorite films of all time, right up there with Baby Driver. I love Drive. I need to rewatch this. I almost did, and then I chose to rewatch Baby Driver, but I'll definitely be rewatching this, and it will be the Second Sight 4K release of it. Second Sight Films 4K. I need to watch that badly. I need to revisit it. Love Drive. Such a good movie. We've got The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. All right, so here is another hot take, and I used to care so much about what people think, or I worried about offending people, I should say. And now it's like I realize it's my opinion. If you don't like it, really, that's too bad. I apologize, but I have nothing to apologize for. I'm not a Jim Carrey fan. Never was. A lot of what we like as kids, I feel like, shape us because of our parents. My dad was never a Jim Carrey fan. I never was. My dad liked raunchy comedies. I got into raunchy comedies. My dad liked slashers. I fell in love with slashers. And obviously, as I got older, I formed my own opinions. But I was never into this stupid humor by Jim Carrey. And I know that's super offensive to a lot of people. But it's just my opinion. It's not like I'm trying to offend you. I'm not, when it comes to comedies, I'm not big into the overly silly, stupid humor, like Dumb and Dumber and all that stuff. Liar Liar's fun. I didn't mind Liar Liar. I like the message in Liar Liar, but even that's a little stupid at times for me. His humor doesn't work. Just some things work for people and some things don't. Doesn't work for me. All right, next up we've got Dune. I haven't seen this. I've heard such diverse of things. It seems like a lot of people universally love this movie. Is that Jason Momoa right there? I didn't even know he was in this. I know the second one comes out in, I think, this year, 2023. Florence Pugh is supposed to be in it, I believe. I don't think she was in the first one. Dunkirk, one of Tim's favorite films of all time, and one of mine and Mike's least favorite. Well, it's not my least favorite film of all time. Trust me on that. I've seen way worse. I just think this movie stunk. I don't think it's good. I hate the score, actually. I'm not a big fan of the score. It's too loud, and it, drowns out everything else in the movie. I don't like the way the story's shot. I don't care for any of the characters. I don't think the action's very good. I don't think anything about... I think this is one of the most overrated movies. Let's just leave it at that. I'm not a fan. Go talk to Mega Mike, the movie man, and see how much he doesn't like Dunkirk. All right, next up, we've got Easy Rider. I haven't seen this, but that is directed by the guy Dennis Hopper. Dennis Hopper directed that. All right, next up, Edge of Tomorrow. This is, I believe, another one that I got from the guy on Instagram. This is such a good movie. I think this is definitely a Blu-ray Steelbook. I missed out on the 4K Steelbook, and then Zavi did one of those things that they've done 4 or 5 times to me, where they canceled my limited edition. The reason I didn't get the Best Buy one is because I got the limited edition one from Zavi, and it never ended up coming. They canceled my order, and it wasn't the first or second or third time they've done that. I think Edge of Tomorrow is excellent, though. I absolutely love Emily Blunt, one of my favorite actresses. One of the most beautiful women ever. Edward Scissorhands, I've only seen this once, and I remember liking it as a kid, but I'm not a big Tim Burton fan, so it's probably my favorite Tim Burton. Well, that or Batman. I liked that and Batman. All right, Elf is up next. I just rewatched this. I need to get the 4K and watch it next year and see how much better it looks. I really like the Steelbook. I think it's super clean. I like Elf. Elf is a lot of fun. It was nice taking a little bit of a break and watching it after a few years break. I think the other one looks better than this Steelbook, but there's that. Elf as well. Elysium, another one I have not seen. The Equalizer, Denzel Washington. There's the back of it there. Beautiful Steelbook, and then here's another one. So, Equalizer. I think The Equalizer is one of Denzel's best, but he's made so many good movies, so it's hard to say that. But The Equalizer is an incredible action movie. Such a good one. And it's a lot better than the second one, but this is not a slouch either. I think they're making a third one, I'm pretty sure. But The Equalizer 2 is excellent as well. Don't sleep on Equalizer 2. So there are those back to back there, side by side. Next up, we've got E.T. I had just rewatched this. I remember seeing this in theaters, but I just rewatched it for the first time in like 25 years or so. And it's not my favorite Steven Spielberg movie. I know it is probably one of Ken and Tony's favorite films of all time. Not one of mine. I liked it. I thought it was really good. But I'm not the biggest Dee Wallace fan. And I just think there's better Steven Spielberg movies. I don't even... It was like number 5 for me out of... When I did the top 5 Steven Spielberg stream on Mike's channel, I think it was number 5. Next up, we've got E.T. as well. This is the 4K Steelbook of it. That's a beautiful Steelbook. I love the orange. Red Steelbook here, Evil Dead, the remake. What is this, 2013? And you got Evil Dead Rise coming out in a few months. This movie kicks ass. There's so much blood. It's probably the bloodiest movie I've seen. Maybe not the goriest. It's definitely one of the goriest, too. There are some incredible shots that are incredibly disturbing. The original Evil Dead, I really like Evil Dead. I think that the original and I think that the remake in 2013 or whatever it was are both great. I honestly probably prefer the 2013 one a little bit. When I was a kid, I hated Evil Dead. I didn't even make it through it. I shut it off. I wasn't a fan. Rewatched it in its entirety last year, a couple months ago. Really liked it. I thought it was a very good movie. I really enjoyed it. I was shocked. I did not like Evil Dead 2. I've talked a lot about this, much like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I don't like it, and I know it's hard to live up to the first one, but I am not a fan when sequels go from being taking themselves seriously. And I know Evil Dead doesn't take itself super serious, but this one just does a lot of what the first one did, but it's dumb. It's stupid in my opinion. It might be very entertaining, but it's just over the top. It's not my kind of humor. It doesn't work for me. I love the first one, and I think everything that the first one does well, they do bad in this one. And much like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and a lot of that stuff. It's not that I don't like horror comedies or horror with humor. I don't like it when they take everything the first one did good, in my opinion, and then do the same thing but silly and make it really stupid. And that doesn't work for me, but I'm more into the serious type of horror movies. The Exorcist, I need to rewatch this, but I'm just going to wait for the 4K release to rewatch it. I can't even really speak on this. It has been ages since I've seen this. I was on Huck's trivia, and I did terrible. I couldn't even get one of the questions right for The Exorcist. It was a picture of it. Because I haven't seen it since I was like, I don't know, 10 or 11, which is over 20 years ago. It was on VHS. Face Off. This is excellent. I love Face Off. I need to rewatch this too. It has been a very long time. But this is getting a 4K from Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber's got some incredible 4K titles like Sudden Death coming out with Van Damme this year. So stay tuned to Kino Lorber's 4K announcements. Fantastic Four. I don't think I've seen any of these. Is this the one with Miles Teller? I believe Michael B. Jordan. I haven't seen that. And then we've got Fast and Furious 6 here. The reason why is because I'm going to get into the other Fast and Furious movies in just a second here. But this one does not kind of go with the rest of them, and you'll see why. But yeah, we'll get into Fast and Furious. I think this is a really good one. It's great cast. I mean, it's before Paul Walker passed away. I love Gal Gadot is in this. It's such a good cast. But a lot of people hate Fast and Furious franchise. All right, so here, let's get into that Fast and Furious franchise. This is the first Fast and Furious, Fast and the Furious. The original one, I love how they put a number 1 on the spine. You got a big-ass number 1 on the back right there. I love the original Fast and Furious. I think it had such an influence. A lot of people were getting arrested right after that movie for, like, street racing. The original Fast and Furious is such a classic in my opinion. I love the original one. Too Fast, Too Furious. Obviously, Vin Diesel's missing in this one. You bring in a different cast, but you still got Paul Walker. I like Too Fast, Too Furious. I have fun with it. I think they're all very entertaining. You got Eva Mendes in this one. And there's your big 2 on that one. They're all a little scratched up, but it is what it is. I didn't get them new. I bought them all as like a pack on eBay. The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. Paul Walker's not in this one. Vin Diesel comes in at the end, and then they all tie it together in the franchise as they continued on number 3. And there's your number 3 on the back. I really like that one. It's not, once again, just very entertaining. Very fun movie. I think she is beautiful. Is her name like Natalie or something like that? I don't know. I think she's gorgeous. Fast and Furious 4. So I think it's just called Fast and Furious. But yeah, there's that one. And this one is good too. I love Jordana Brewster. I think she looks incredibly gorgeous in that. She was one of my favorites as a kid too. I was obsessed with Jordana Brewster. I like Fast and Furious 4. Not my favorite. I think Fast 5 is one of the best ones out there. You introduce, why am I drawing a blank here? The Rock, of course, Dwayne Johnson. So there's your 5th one right there. I think the 5th one is excellent. I think it's probably one of the best ones, maybe the 2nd best one. I think it's hard to top the 1st one for me personally. There's your Fast and Furious 6, the aforementioned one that I already kind of talked about. I really like this one too. I have a lot of fun with it. I think it's very entertaining. They hadn't gone off the rails completely. They definitely get sillier and more far-fetched for sure. And Paul Walker being in them is a huge draw. You need Paul Walker. And so here's Fast and Furious 7. There's your entire cast right there, sort of. This is the one Paul Walker kind of passed away during the making of this. He died in a car accident, unfortunately. So for me, I think Fast and Furious 7 is really good. It's called Furious 7. Paul Walker wasn't the greatest actor in the world. I'm not going to go that far. But I loved Paul Walker. I think he made a lot of films that I was very interested in, like Joyride and things like that. I missed Paul Walker a ton as an actor. Super sad. I thought the tribute was great at the end of Furious 7. But after Furious 7, in my opinion, they kind of went downhill. They're still entertaining. But Paul Walker, everybody talks about Vin Diesel and Vin Diesel being the main actor. Paul Walker was, and still is, the heart and the soul of Fast and Furious. And when he passed away and he was no longer in these movies, I'm sorry, but they went downhill. Anybody could say what they want about Vin Diesel, but Paul Walker was Fast and Furious. Like, without him, they should have stopped because they were not the same. They didn't know what they were doing. I feel like they just went downhill, and like, you lose your heart and soul, the franchise goes downhill. Because here's Fate of the Furious, and this one was just, it's just too messy. And then you got Vin Diesel kind of betraying the group, sort of. Obviously, there's a reason why, but like, that just doesn't happen. I just miss Paul Walker, and I just don't think that the franchise knew what it wanted to be. I think you lose your identity, right? Paul Walker, everybody talks about Vin Diesel, but Paul Walker is the identity of Fast and Furious. He was the main character. He was the first one introduced in Fast and Furious, not Vin Diesel. And I think that he was always the main character, and then they kind of shifted it towards Vin Diesel for some reason. But Paul Walker, make no mistake, he was that franchise. That F9, it's just called F9. Once again, this is the silliest one. It gets probably just super just out there and far-fetched and dumb. But it's still fun. The bit with Tyrese Gibson in the beginning where he gets shot like 80 times. He has like, I don't know what they were doing with that scene. And then a car falls on him and he survives. I don't know what they were doing with that. It was ridiculous. And then they finally go to space. They bring a car to space, and no. And then I think somebody catches a car in that one in the middle of the air or something like that. I don't know. It doesn't work. Still fun, still entertaining. Can't wait for the next one. I just want to see it end at this point. You're missing Paul Walker. You're missing your heart, your soul, your identity of that franchise. Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw. I had this under H for a while. I moved it under Fast and Furious because technically that's what it's called. Just like Train to Busan Presents Peninsula, right? Hobbs and Shaw, fun, action-packed, some pacing issues throughout. A lot of fun, though. I love the banter and the chemistry between these two. Unfortunately, we're never going to see The Rock in another Fast and Furious, more than likely, or Jason Statham. But hopefully we get a second Hobbs and Shaw. I don't know why that hasn't happened yet. That one was super successful. But you got that one gets far-fetched too, of course. You got The Rock holding on to, like, I think 3 cars or a plane or something like that with a chain in one hand, and then he's holding on to, like, the truck with another. It's just ridiculous. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I've only seen this once or twice. I think twice. It's a good one. Did John Hughes direct that or just write it? But either way, it's a lot of fun. Next up, we've got Field of Dreams. Kevin Costner, probably my favorite actor. Him, De Niro, and Tom Hanks. This is a great movie. The Cubs, I'm a Cubs fan. They played there last year. They played the Reds. Next up, we have got the Field of Dreams. Jesus, I almost said the Field of Dreams again. The Fifth Element, which is something I have not seen, and I don't know how interested I am in seeing that one, but it's a beautiful steelbook. Next up, we have got Fight Club. Hot take. I've only seen this once, and I did not like it. I didn't like the twist. I just wasn't a big fan of Fight Club. And I know I got a lot of hate when I told people that. But once again, my opinion, film is subjective, okay? So if you love it, awesome. That's all that matters. Don't worry about me not liking Fight Club. First Blood. I love First Blood. I'm a huge fan of this movie. Pop's Movie Dungeon, Ellen over at Pop's Movie Dungeon, is a massive fan of First Blood. He loves the Rambo franchise. Who doesn't? Rambo is such a fun franchise. First Blood is incredible. The ending of this movie is incredible. Sylvester Stallone is a highly underrated actor. I think he's a very good actor. Forrest Gump, one of my favorites. Robert Zemeckis. I love Forrest Gump. But a lot of people kind of, over time, have said that's not as good, or it's not a very good movie, actually. Some people say it was a bad Oscar winner for Best Picture. Friday the 13th, The Killer Cut here. This is the remake. Yes, that is the remake. It's a very weird front of it, but I love the back. All right, next up we've got the 4 Friday the 13th movies here. We got the first one, Friday the 13th. Just a beautiful steelbook. I absolutely love it. Just the original artwork. You got "Killer, Mommy, Killer." So that famous quote. They're all like the same. You got the next one, Friday the 13th Part 2. "You're doomed. You're all doomed." Yeah, very good quote there. And then "Be Right Back." This is the third one here, Friday the 13th Part 3. And then they did the fourth one here as well, which I'll just get into in just a sec. All right, like I said, Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, which just came out recently. Jason's body has disappeared from the morgue. Another, I've seen all of the Friday the 13th movies. I think Part 6, Jason Lives, is probably my favorite. I think a lot of people would say, what is it, Final Chapter, they say, is the best one. I like Part 2. I really like Part 3. I think Part 3 is better than Part 1 and 2. But honestly, Jason Lives is my favorite. I just really hope they keep making these. I really enjoy them. They're beautiful steelbooks. It would be awesome to have them all on a shelf together. We've got Fright Night, the original Fright Night here. One of Garrett's favorites, Mel's favorites, a lot of people's favorites, Justin over at the Rad Pack. You got the original Fright Night here. This is a beautiful steelbook. I believe it's 3 discs. It is 4K. There is no inside artwork, unfortunately, but it is an incredible transfer. Sony knocked it out of the park with that 4K transfer. Fury, one of the better war films I've ever seen in my lifetime. War Never Ends Quietly. The ending of that movie, the last 30 minutes, is so intense. It's so good. Here's another Fury steelbook. I know that Dave over at Durant Cinema has a ton of Fury steelbooks. He's a big fan of that movie as well. And he just did a Steelbook video as well, actually, recently. So go check that out. Galaxy Quest, I'm not probably going to be a fan of this. It's still sealed. I just recently picked it up at Walmart. I don't have a ton of interest in watching that. The Gambler. I've never seen this one. I don't think I've seen that one. Not yet. I just recently rewatched this to check out that 4K that everybody says it looks incredible. I think this is a good movie. I like this movie. A lot of people hate it. I'm a fan. I saw it in theaters by myself in New Orleans, I believe I was, and I'm a fan of it. I like Gemini Man. I like the action. I have a lot of fun, and I'm a big Mary Elizabeth Winstead fan. I like Will Smith. Get Out. There's your little teapot there. Cup of tea. Get Out's great. Get Out is excellent. Excellent movie. Ghostbusters. I think it's good. I think it's pretty good. It's not my, naturally not my favorite genre or type of movie. It's not my thing, but I like it. Ghostbusters 2. On par with Ghostbusters, probably like Ghostbusters quite a bit more, but I really do dig that Steelbook. I just think that is so cool. So there's Ghostbusters. That's Ghostbusters. Again, another Steelbook of Ghostbusters. And then Ghostbusters 2 right there. Once again, not usually my type of film. Ghostbusters is a classic. I've only seen the first two. I haven't seen any of the rest of them. G.I. Joe Retaliation is Bruce Willis. Yeah, Bruce Willis is in this. So is The Rock. I've seen one of these G.I. Joe movies. I think it was Rise of Cobra or something like that. I don't think I've seen that one. And then there's one with Channing Tatum. I don't know which one that is. Gladiator. I've seen this one time, and it has been like 20 years, 25 years, something like that. It's probably been since 2003, so about 20 years. I think Gladiator is an excellent movie. But there's another movie called Gladiator from 1992 that I actually like even more. It's a boxing movie. Nobody talks about it. Nobody knows about it. There's two people that I know have seen it. Cody over at Lapkey Vision Films. He goes by Dude Who Loves That Movie on YouTube. And Mel over at My Killer Podcast loves the Gladiator from 1992 as well. It's only got a DVD release, unfortunately, though. All right, we got Glass up next. I love the ending. I think the cinematography, the wide shots are great. The long shots, things like that in this movie at the very end are excellent. I've got to rewatch this. I've actually never seen Unbroken. So I went into this and I hadn't even seen Unbroken. I've seen Split, but I have to watch Unbroken. I have to watch all three together. The Godfather. Okay, so this is going to piss some people off. I should have watched it by now, but I have not seen any of the Godfather movies still. I have that trilogy. I have them all on 4K. I need to get around to seeing these, and I will do it ASAP. I really do need to see these ASAP. I'm disappointed I still haven't gotten around to them. But The Godfather. I've got some classics I haven't seen. I'm going to get around to. The Godfather Part 2. Blu-ray Steelbooks. The Godfather 4K Steelbook. The Godfather Part 2 4K Steelbook, and The Godfather Part 3 4K Steelbook, Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone. I need to see that. I need to see all three of those. I know some people would say don't worry about the third one. I need to see them all three. The original Godzilla. Really cool Steelbook there. I think that's a 4K Steelbook. I love the back of it. So that is all those. Next up, we've got the Godzilla 2014 version, I think. I've seen that twice. Aaron Taylor Johnson's in it. I'm a big Aaron Taylor Johnson fan, so I think he's awesome. Next up, we've got Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I actually missed the first 5 or 10 or 15 minutes of this movie. I saw it with my buddy Jeff. Reason why, I was buying a car, and I had tickets to go see this, and it was just taking forever to fill out the paperwork. And yeah, Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So there's that. I missed I need to rewatch that so I could watch whatever I missed. Could have been 15 minutes. I don't even know. Godzilla vs. Kong. I think this could have been better. The same director of Your Next directed this one. Really cool Steelbook on the back. I'm a bigger fan of Kong than I am Godzilla. I guess Godzilla does win in this one, technically, but I like Kong. And the reason why I like Kong more is because I think Kong Skull Island is incredible. We'll get into that in a minute, though. We're only on G's. Good Burger. Home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? This is such a fun movie. It's so nostalgic to me. I love Good Burger. It's fun. Goonies. I watched this for the first time like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Or 4 or 5 years ago, whatever. But I missed out on this as a kid, I believe. I might have seen it. I don't think I did. So it wasn't, the nostalgia wasn't there for me. But I still think The Goonies is awesome. Really enjoyed Goonies. I just missed out on it as a kid. The Graduate, this was one of the ones I remember from film class. My film teacher, Mr. Johnson, this was his #1 favorite film of all time. Miss Robinson, You're Trying to Seduce Me. Yeah, it's such an iconic movie. The Graduate's so good. Same director as Closer. I think Mike Nichols is the name. That director is very good. Gran Torino, Clint Eastwood directed this one. I love Gran Torino. Maybe it's not quite politically correct. I don't know. There's definitely some racist elements in this movie, but I think there's an idea behind it, obviously. Such a good movie. Very realistic ending, too. Love Gran Torino. Grease. I've seen this like once. I think long time ago. I need to rewatch it. Rest in peace. Poor John Travolta, too. He's lost his wife. He's lost his kid. But yeah, Grease. Iconic soundtrack. I need to see the rest of that in its entirety. I need to rewatch it. Grease 2. I definitely don't think I've ever seen this. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that. Isn't that Michelle Pfeiffer? Grease, the collection. I believe the third one is like Grease Live. I think that's Grease Live. I'm not sure. It's really cool. There's a bunch of like embossing and stuff. Even that is and that. And it's just such a cool steelbook. It's all embossed and debossed. It's excellent steelbook. The Green Mile. I just watched this for the first time last year, and loved it. Loved it. I think it's an excellent movie. I think it is one. It's so good. So good. This movie is perfect. It is powerful. Such a powerful movie. Next up, we have got Gremlins. I like Gremlins. Classic Christmas movie. Really cool steelbook. I've heard the 4K transfer is not the best. I'll have to give it a visit. I haven't watched it in probably a few years. All right. The Blu-ray Gremlins steelbook. Don't get wet. Keep away from bright light. And never, ever feed after midnight. It says on the back there. Really cool steelbook. All right. Groundhog Day. This is one of the most recent steelbooks that I picked up. I actually love this steelbook. I think, in my opinion, it is up for one of the nicest steelbooks of the year. Early on, I think that the colors are incredible. I just love the, like, are those snowballs or like snowflakes? I mean, I'm not sure, but I just think it looks incredible. It's just such a nice steelbook. It is awesome steelbook. I love the colors. I love the blue, and I can't wait to rewatch it with Groundhog Day coming up. Next up, we've got The Guest. Just such an excellent movie. I believe Adam Wingard also directed this, same director of You Are Next and Kong vs. Godzilla. Such a good movie. Second Sight Films put out an awesome release of it as well. Hacksaw Ridge. I love this movie. Mel Gibson directed it. I think it's excellent. I think it's a great movie. I love Andrew Garfield. I love him in this movie. I think he was well-deserved for... was it Best Actor he was nominated for an Oscar? Halloween, classic, of course. In my opinion, John Carpenter's second best. I personally love Halloween H2O probably the most. Is it the best movie in the franchise? No, this is probably the best movie in the franchise, but Halloween H2O is my favorite. But I love the original Halloween. I just rewatched it again on Halloween, this past Halloween, and I thought it was excellent. Next up, we've got Halloween Remake, the Rob Zombie one. When I rewatched this like 2 years ago, it didn't quite hold up as much as I thought, because I remember saying that this was on par with the original. I loved the remake, and I do. I think it's a really good remake. I like it a lot. I don't like the kid, but I think he's a good actor. Maybe Michael's a little too big, too menacing, but I really like the remake, and I like Scout Taylor Compton in this. It's not my favorite, though, in the franchise, and it's not as good as the original. Next up, we have got Halloween, the 2018 David Gordon Green version. There's a few of these. Yeah, this isn't the nicest Steelbook, in my opinion, but there's that. All right, let's keep going here. Halloween, the same one, 2018, Blumhouse, David Gordon Green. Halloween here. Danny McBride was one of the writers. Explains why it's not great. Yeah. Moving on after that, we've got Halloween Kills. I missed out on the red one because they weren't even in stock. That and Dune came out on the same day, and they weren't in stock. So I had to pick up this one when it got re-released about 10 months later. Halloween Kills. I didn't like that one. And when I rewatched it, I thought it was worse. Next up, we've got Halloween Ends. Hated this movie. I think it was terrible. I know some people liked it. I'll try to hold my tongue. I don't know how. I don't know how anybody could think this was a good movie. I don't know why they made it. And I heard David Gordon Green and the directors and writers and everything came out and said, nobody's going to like it. Or like, people are going to hate this movie. Why would you make a movie you know people are going to hate? I don't understand. And then the Zavi exclusive of Halloween Ends. They are awesome Steelbooks, though. These are awesome. That is such a nice Steelbook. Awesome Steelbook. But don't even get me started on that movie. Not good. But I'm a completionist. I'm a completionist. I like saying completist. And I love the Steelbooks. And I wanted them. So I grabbed them. All right, next up we've got Hancock. I like this movie. I have fun with it. I actually have that hat. Yeah, I like Hancock. I'll have to wear that hat sometime. Should have worn it for this video. But yeah, we got Hancock, Will Smith, Charlize Theron, Jason Bateman. I like Hancock. I think it's fun. I was a fan. Next up is Hangover. I'm not a big... What is his name? Excuse me. It's not Ed Helms, is it? Is that Ed Helms? I like Heather Graham, and I like Bradley Cooper. Zach Galifianakis is okay. But I remember seeing this on my high school graduation night. So it was 2009. We went out and saw this right after I graduated high school. And it was not a memorable night because just like right now how I coughed, I actually had like a scratch in my throat. It was the most embarrassing thing in the world. It was super silent. The valedictorian was giving their speech, and I had like a scratch in my throat, and I coughed. I was trying to hold it in because I didn't want to like make noise, right? And I ended up like, I don't know how I explain it. I coughed, but I was trying to hold it in, and so like it was the most embarrassing thing. It was so loud. A few people next to me thought I was dying. It was so embarrassing, and I just wanted to go. And so I didn't enjoy my graduation at all. I was like, can we leave? I'm so embarrassed. But yeah, it's Hangover. Saw that night. Love it. Next up, we've got Hangover Part 2. Not as good as the first one, but definitely better than the third. I like Hangover 2. It's fun. There's some really funny elements, but Hangover is such a classic, the first one. I guess I don't have a Hangover Part 3 Steelbook unless they don't have one. I'm sure they do somewhere. Hannibal. I did not like Hannibal. I don't think Hannibal's a very good movie. I guess some people liked it. I don't think it's a good follow-up to Silence of the Lambs at all. I did not like it. I didn't like it one bit. All right, so here's a hot take. I've actually never seen any of these. There's a couple franchises, once again, I'm not interested in seeing. It's nothing against you if you're a fan. It's just not my thing. And there's quite a few, and a lot of people would probably take offense to them. This franchise is one of them. So I don't know what movie, what part this is. There's like 8 of them or something like that. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. It's probably an earlier one because he looks very young. I watched like parts, or I think I fell asleep watching this in school, or one of them. Yeah, no thanks. I'll pass on ever watching any of the Harry Potters, but they came with a bunch of Steelbooks I bought from that guy on Instagram. So here's another one. You know, when I look it up on like Letterboxd and Blu-ray.com, there's no movie that shows up with this title. One of these titles. I don't know why. Like, somebody maybe could explain that to me, but yeah, here's the 2 movies. I don't know. Hearts War. Have I seen this once? If I did, it's not memorable. Zavi exclusive Steelbook. Heat. I've seen this only one time. I need to rewatch it. It's been a few years. I remember this being such a well-made, excellent film. It is the weirdest Steelbook design because this is like off-centered. Very weird. Very strange. Hellboy. I've never seen any of these, so I can't speak on them. But there's I think the original. Here's another Hellboy. I think that's also the original. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. Next up, we've got Hitman's Bodyguard. I laughed my ass off in this movie. I think it's hilarious. I think it was awesome. It's so funny. Hitman's Bodyguard, awesome. And I do have like the other ones, but they're Lionsgate Steelbook, so they're like up there. Next up, we've got Hocus Pocus. This is a classic. It's fun. I haven't seen the second one yet. I've heard terrible things, which I'm not surprised by. But I've heard some good things too. I haven't watched it yet. I'll get around to it. But yeah, I love this Steelbook, this 4K Steelbook. It is beautiful. And I like Hocus Pocus. It's part of my childhood. This one is almost probably nicer. It's got some embossing. When you open it up, it looks like the book. It's awesome. And Home Alone, such a nice Steelbook. I love the design on this as well. You got some embossing right here. I just rewatched this, still holds up. It's excellent, but much like a lot of those movies I watched as a kid that are now kind of kids' movies, Home Alone's not like my favorite Christmas movie, but I love Home Alone still because of it being a kid, you know, watching it. Here's another Home Alone Steelbook, a Blu-ray one. You got Macaulay Culkin there. And last, but certainly not least, we've got Home Alone and Home Alone 2. So keep the change, you filthy animal. It says on the back there. That is all of those. All right, continuing on. We've got Hostel up next. I love Hostel. I think it's great. Eli Roth. Eli Roth directed this. You know, Quentin Tarantino presented this, I believe. Yeah, he was a producer on it. But I love the original Hostel. I think Hostel 2 is really good follow-up to. If you're into that kind of, what do you want to call it? Torture porn, called torture porn. I guess that and Saw kind of, you know, started the whole torture porn thing. But, yeah. Next up, we've got Howard the Duck. I have not seen this, but I really, really want to get the 4K Steelbook. I think it's one of the coolest looking Steelbooks, and I don't have it. So I need that. How to Train Your Dragon 2. I've never seen this. I don't have the first or third one. This came in that sale with the guy from Instagram. Next up, we've got Hunger Games. I love the original Hunger Games. Jennifer Lawrence was kind of my introduction into her. Probably everybody's introduction to her for the most part. But Hunger Games is awesome, the first one. Hunger Games Part 2, I guess. Catching Fire. I have seen that one. I like it. Not as good as the original. And then Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. I think I've seen this one. Is this the one where the one guy dies in the, like, the sewage area or something? I don't know. I think I've seen Part 3. The third in the franchise. But I'm pretty sure I've never seen this in its entirety. But I've been spoiled for it and all that stuff, so. Hunter Killer. It's not great, but I guess it's not as bad as everybody says. I did blind buy it, and then I watched it right away. I don't mind it. I don't mind Hunter Killer. I've only seen it once. Can't really remember a ton about it, but I thought it was okay. I Am Legend, classic. I remember seeing this in theaters. Kind of had just gotten my driver's license right around that time, and I went to go see it with a group of friends, and just such a good time. Yeah, good time. All 4 of us went to go see it together. We were sitting in the front row, and looking up. It was crazy. Next up, Inception. I have not seen Inception. I'm not the biggest Christopher Nolan fan. I've said that before. So I haven't seen Inception. I haven't seen Tenet. Independence Day is another one. I just watched this for the first time on 4th of July this past year. Yep. I thought it was pretty good. Not my favorite movie. Pretty good, though. Next up, we've got the Independence Day Resurgent. I believe it's like a remake or a sequel. I haven't seen that one. Raiders of the Lost Ark, I have in a different spot, but we've got Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I have not seen any of the Indiana Jones movies, and no, I will not be watching them until the new one either like gets announced officially. Whenever it's about to come out, I'm going to binge watch all 4 of them, the first 4. So there's that one. There's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, another one I haven't seen. I really love these Steelbooks though. And then I do not own the Temple of Doom, or the whatever it is, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I don't own that one. Inglourious Bastards, excellent movie. Some great characters in that. Ton of dialogue. Quentin Tarantino. Another Inglourious Bastards Steelbook. I think one of them, has like 2 different spines, so you could flip it over, I guess. I don't know, like that. But, yeah. It's Inglourious Bastards. The other one's a 4K Steelbook. All right, Insurgent. So that is all 3 of the... I think this is the second one then, I believe, because Divergent was the first one. So this is, I believe, the second one. All right, next up, Invisible Man. This was probably one of my favorite movies of 2020. I saw this right before the theaters closed down for quarantine as well. I think it came out in January that year. Really good release for January. Awesome movie. Invisible Man is excellent. Next up, we've got The Iron Giant. I've seen this once, and I remember being a fan when I was a kid. I have to rewatch it. And then beginning the whole It Steelbooks here. We've got this one, which is the original Pennywise It from, 1991? I believe this was like, it's a long mini-series or something, short mini-series technically, or TV series. I'm not sure how it went. Like TV movie, but 2 parts or something. But yeah, there's that one. All right, continuing on with that It franchise. This is another one, the original one, I believe. I've never actually seen the original It. Pennywise doesn't scare me, doesn't do anything for me. I think Pennywise is overrated, to be honest. Everybody thinks Pennywise is awesome. He's the greatest. He's always thrown out there as one of the best horror icons. I disagree. I don't think he's one of the best. I don't think he's scary, and I don't think he's very funny. Yeah. Pennywise is kind of just not scary. Let's just say that. Here is the 2017 It, I believe, or something like that. It's okay. It's really long. There's a story behind seeing this in theaters. My buddy got into it. A buddy of mine, Justin, got into it with some guy. He was like slurping his Slurpee too loud. His straw, it was empty. Bunch of children, they were acting like. And this guy got pissed, and he's like, go get another refill. And this is in the middle of the movie. And then after the movie was over, like, I don't know. The guy got into it with me for some reason. And I was like, what's your deal? He got in my face after the movie was over. The 2 of them went to the front desk, arguing like a bunch of babies. I just sat there watching. We walked out of the theater. This guy called the police and wanted to like press charges against us. And, oh my God, the cop was just like, just let it go. I was like, what the, grow up. And I'm so glad nothing happened. This guy was like clearly begging for me to hit him or something. But yeah, what a clown. Talk about clowns, right? Pun intended there. Anyways, there's It, but they both come with the same back. So there's that. Here's It, Chapter 2. This was way too long. This was such a long movie. There were kids in the first one. There are adults in this one. It's not very good. I don't think either one are very good. I just don't but Pennywise doesn't do it for me, so I'm not a Pennywise fan, but he does nothing for me in those movies. It Follows. I love this movie. I think it is an incredible movie. This is so good, so well made. One of the best of the last 20 years. It is so good. It Follows is perfect. Excellent score. My first Steelbook I actually bought since returning to collecting. This is kind of what got me back into collecting. Because I've collected my whole life, but I've sold and then collected again, sold and collected again. I have VHS, DVDs, all that stuff. Well, It Follows, when I bought that at the time at Best Buy, they had a ton of Steelbooks. That was like $8, and now that's out of print and expensive. But yes, that is what basically got me back into collecting. Next up, we have got probably my last live stream I did was for It's a Wonderful Life discussion. And speaking of It's a Wonderful Life, I am going to be doing, this was kind of a series I had started, kind of inspired by Tim and I, and, you know, like what this movie means to us. It's a discussion. And we talked about it, and I've got a lot of movies that I want to do this for, like what this movie means to us. The Whale. I've got a list of others. I don't want to spoil it right now, but I cannot wait to get into it. There's a lot of them coming up this year. I'm hoping to get into it in a couple weeks. You know, for a while there, I lost my passion for YouTube, and even recording this video right now, like, it is taking such a large portion of time to do this, and time is something I don't have a ton of, but I really wanted to get back into YouTube. I know people have asked about it, and people have wanted videos, so I'm really doing it for everybody, because right now, the passion quite isn't there. I enjoy doing live streams. I did one, like, just the other night, but right now, like, it's just taking a lot of time, and time is just something, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time of. So I do apologize that the heart kind of isn't there for YouTube at the moment. But I'm trying. I'm putting in the work here. So Jack Reacher 4K Steelbook, I believe. You think I'm a hero? I am not a hero. And if you're smart, that scares you because I have nothing to lose. I think I've seen Jack Reacher 2, but I've never seen the original Jack Reacher. I should watch that, like, tonight. Next up, we've got Jaws on 4K Steelbook there. Iconic. What else is there to say about Jaws? Probably the greatest shark movie ever made. Jennifer's Body, one of my favorite Steelbooks as well. That whole embossing around it right there. This Steelbook is just awesome. You got Megan Fox there, and it's just awesome. Beautiful Steelbook. Next up, we got Jigsaw, part of the Saw franchise. This is kind of when they branched off a little bit. I guess, no, technically not. But yeah, it's a good one. I like Jigsaw. John Wick. Got a lot of John Wick Steelbooks here, so not as many as Dave Durant. Dave has got some excellent Steelbooks over there at Durant Cinema, especially John Wick and John Wick 2. It's one of his favorites. So John Wick Steelbook from Best Buy. You got another John Wick 2 Steelbook from Best Buy. I'm missing a few, but I have a lot. Another John Wick 3 Parabellum Steelbook. That's like a Walmart one or something, or this is the Walmart one. I don't know. And then there's a Lionsgate one I have separated. John Wick Parabellum as well. I believe, yeah. Jeez. Yeah, John Wick 3 Parabellum. So I got 3 John Wick 3 Steelbooks. But there's a couple like double features and stuff I'm missing. And they're coming out with like a new 3-pack that looks pretty awesome. But it's more money. Juice. I still have yet to see this one. I need to watch it. Awesome Steelbook. Jumanji. Classic, right? Jumanji is a ton of fun. Jumanji is awesome. All right, next up, we have got Jumanji. This should be Welcome to the Jungle. Yep, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. I thought this was an awesome kind of return into Jumanji. Great idea. I love Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. I think it's a ton of fun. I love the cast. She is absolutely stunningly beautiful. I'm a big Rock fan. I'm a huge The Rock fan. I think him and Kevin Hart have great chemistry. And, of course, Jack Black's always awesome. All right, next up we've got Jumanji, the next level, is that what we're called? It is not as good as Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, but it's still a fun follow-up, and it's entertaining. It definitely serves its purpose, and they tried to do something a little different with it. And it worked for me. for the most part. All right, Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom, not great. I don't know why I have such a high rating on my letterbox for these. I gave them 3 stars, and this does not deserve 3 stars. I'd probably rewatch it and go like 2.5. It's not a good movie. I guess it's entertaining at parts. And then, I mean, it just blows my mind how ugly and awful and lazy these Steelbooks were. So bad. I guess the back of this is okay. This is Jurassic Park Dominion, Jurassic World Dominion. It's also not very good. Not a big fan of that one. All right, continuing on. And I may cut this video short. I might break it up into parts. I feel like it's been going on for a while here, and it is taking me forever, and I'm getting exhausted, and I got to get up early in the morning. So, but I want to get a video out there. It's been over a month now. So, all right, Karate Kid is up next. 4K. This is a Blu-ray Steelbook. Love this movie, classic. I absolutely adore Karate Kid. A huge part of my childhood. I was bullied in high school because I was like barely 5 feet in freshman year, and I had a speech impediment pretty much, couldn't pronounce my R's, and so like bullying films are realistic and relatable to me for the most part, but I had to stick up for myself too, otherwise it was never gonna end. Some people believe ignore them. I'm not one of them. I tried doing that, never worked. As soon as I stuck up for myself, that's when things started to get better. So I'm more in the boat, personally, just me. I'm not recommending telling people what to do. I like sticking up for myself. And that's why I love watching a bully get their ass kicked in a movie. It's so satisfying. All right, next up we've got Kick-Ass. I love Kick-Ass. Love Kick-Ass. Is probably one of, if like up there with Dark Knight for my favorite superhero movie. It's better than any Marvel movie in my opinion. Yeah, maybe better than Avengers, Endgame, and Infinity War. Love Kick-Ass. I love Aaron Taylor Johnson. Here's another Kick-Ass Steelbook. Here's the back of it. Pretty cool Kick-Ass Steelbook. Love that one. Just love Kick-Ass. Got a couple of those Kick-Ass Steelbooks. Kingsman, this is another one that I had held off. Kingsman, the Secret Service, held off on getting around to watching forever. And I finally watched it a few years back. Loved it. Thought it was awesome. Excellent movie. And I really liked, well, this is also the Kingsman, the Golden Secret Service. And then here is the sequel, the Kingsman, the Golden Circle, right? Yeah. And then I have like the box set as well with the third one. I haven't seen the third one, The King's Man, I believe it's just called. I'm sure you've noticed I haven't gone through any boutique labels or anything like that. I have a bunch of other Steelbooks you could probably see right next to me, but haven't gone into those because I separated my Steelbooks. Like this behind me right here is my Steelbook studio releases. I included Zavi releases, basically anything that isn't a boutique label or anything like that. And you'll see as I continue to go through and do like a second part. All right, next up is Kill Bill. Volume 1 just says Kill Bill there, and Kill Bill Volume 2. I love Kill Bill and I love Kill Bill Volume 2. I am in the group that counts those as 2 Quentin Tarantino films. I believe that would give him 10, right? Some people say he only did 9, or is it 11? I don't know, but anyways, I count them as 2 films. Killing Them Softly. I didn't like this. I didn't. It didn't work for me. Whatever there was just did not work for me. King Kong, the one with Naomi Watts. I've only seen this once. Really liked it. Need to rewatch it because I love Naomi Watts. Anybody who knows, I say it in like all my videos. Naomi Watts is the love of my life. So there's that. Kong Skull Island, as I talked about briefly earlier. I love this movie. I love the front of the Steelbook. I love the back of it. The disc art, the inside artwork is awesome. I love it. It's 3D, I believe. The 4K of that looks incredible. It was one of the first 4Ks I bought. I thought it looked so good. Yeah, I love that one. La La Land. This is a little beat up Steelbook. It's got some dents and stuff, but it was another one that came in that sale and with a bunch of other Steelbooks, so I'm not complaining. Just kind of tossed in there. Lawrence of Arabia. I have not seen this one either, but that came out with The Bridge on the River Kwai. Leon the Professional. I need the 4K Steelbook of this. I have not seen this. I need to see that one. We've got the Leprechaun franchise, the entire franchise. 7-film collection. I think it comes with returns. So, yeah, it should, because 7 films. I love the original. I don't want to say I love it. I think the original is fun. It's a beautiful Steelbook. You got Leprechaun right there. The first one is a lot of fun. I hate when actors and celebrities deny certain movies or roles, and I know Jennifer Aniston does not like to admit to being in Leprechaun. I wonder if somebody took, like, if I brought this to her, if she would sign it or be like, you got something else for me to sign? Because her and many others, like George Clooney, don't like to admit to being in Return of the Killer Tomatoes or whatever. But yeah, Leprechaun is fun. Leprechaun 2 is not bad. Leprechaun 3 is okay. 4 in Space is terrible. I hated it personally. Back to the Hood In the Hood is entertaining, I guess. Not good. Back to the Hood's not good either. I think he gets stuck in a fridge in one of them or something like that. They lock him in a fridge. Leprechaun Origins is terrible. It is so bad that they barely show the leprechaun. He doesn't look like a leprechaun at all. And then Leprechaun Returns is probably the second best one. It's kind of like a direct sequel to the original. And they bring back Otis is his name or something like that. The painter. Les Miserables or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I've never seen this. It's got a good cast. Russell Crowe, Hugh Jackman, Anne Hathaway, Amanda Seyfried. Amanda Seyfried, I think, has been nominated for some kind of Oscar, which is deservingly so. She's really good. Lethal Weapon, classic. Love it. That is a Zavi exclusive, and then here's another Zavi exclusive. Still sealed. Let Me In. I have seen this one. I have not seen the original. This is the Chloe Grace Moretz one. This is another Zavi exclusive. I adore Let Me In. I think it's an excellent movie. I think it's really good. I got to watch the original. And then another Zavi exclusive. We got the Lockout here. I just recently rewatched this, and it did not quite hold up as well as I remember enjoying it the first time I watched it, or second, or whatever. It's not great. I know that... I forget the guy's name, but he got sued by John Carpenter for like plagiarism or something for Escape from New York, because it's very similar. And John Carpenter won in court. So I didn't love that like I thought that was just, I don't know, Bush League, childish, whatever, but I guess, you know, Escape from New York was his idea, and if he felt somebody copied it, which was, what is the damn guy's name? Luc Besson, or I believe Luc Besson. I'm not sure. I think he's the one who wrote it or whatever, and directed maybe. But yeah, he got sued. All right, next up we've got Logan. I seen it once a couple years ago. Thought it was awesome. Awesome movie. Next up, Lone Survivor. That's another one of those Peter Berg movies with Mark Wahlberg. This movie is very good, very heartbreaking. They go through a lot. The real story, look it up. It's tragic. It's excellent story though. Very well made movie. Lone Survivor. London Has Fallen. The sequel to Olympia Has Fallen. Olympias Has Fallen. This is a Zavi exclusive Steelbook as well. It is not nearly as good as the first one. Lucy. I didn't like this. Another Luc Besson movie. Nope, not my cup of tea. Didn't really, it was okay at best. Machete Kills. Another Zavi exclusive Steelbook. It's not nearly as good as the original either. And it was supposed to get another Machete movie, and we didn't, probably because that one didn't do well and it sucked. I guess there's entertaining elements to it, but it's not great. Magnificent Seven. I just watched this a year or two ago, and I had a blast with it. This movie kicks ass. Super good. And Westerns were something I was never really into, and I have really gotten into Westerns, like 3:10 to Yuma, that, and many others. And so now I'm willing to give Westerns a chance without second thinking it or anything like that. So, yeah, I love them. Manhunter is something I don't know. It's a Michael Mann film. I don't know much about this, but it was accidentally sent to me, and I just never got around to sending it back, and now it's worth a ton of money. I don't even know what it is, though. But it's Michael Mann film. All right, next up we've got The Martian. Seen it once. Great movie. Excellent. Very good. The Matrix. I've never seen any of these, but I know my last name is Anderson. I know there's like a big famous Mr. Anderson, right? Max Payne. Not great. I remember watching this. You got Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, it's okay. I saw this in theaters. I guess it's okay. It's okay. I like the video game. Next up, we've got Maze Runner. I love this franchise, this trilogy. I really like the first one. I think it's the best. Maze Runner, The Scorch Trials is not bad. I think it's pretty good, too. I don't think it's nearly as good as the first one. And then Dylan O'Brien almost died on the set of this. He got, like, ran over, fell off a truck or something, and then something ran him over. He had facial surgery. They had to delay shooting. He couldn't be on set of Teen Wolf, and then, yeah, for the final season. But, yeah, Maze Runner Death Cure. This one starts a bit wonky for me, not nearly as good. I love the ending. I was a big fan of the ending of this. I love the way they wrap it up. I think Death Cure ends really well. Mean Girls, awesome. Steelbook, Burn Book, it just says, does it even say Mean Girls on there? I don't think so. But it is Mean Girls, it says right there. And yeah, really cool Steelbook. I didn't get the Burn Book that came out from Zavi. It's like an actual book. Came out a couple years ago. I never got that. But Mean Girls is awesome. Fun. The Meg. Such a disappointment for a shark movie. This had such potential, but look at how big this shark's mouth is. I feel like when you got a shark that big, it's just, it's hard to, I don't know. It wasn't good, and shark movies should not be PG-13. They should not. There should be no creature movies that are PG-13. I don't care what you're trying to market to. It ruins it. If you're looking for quality, you making a shark movie PG-13 immediately, it's like a downfall, in my opinion. It is extremely hard to start off and have a positive movie if you're starting with a PG-13 rating. And that's a lot of horror. But obviously you're going to make more money making a PG-13 a lot of the time. So I wonder, like, Deadpool, how much more it would make if it was PG-13. Because you could take successful and positive and good rated R movies that do really well. Get Out did really well in theaters. Obviously, any Jordan Peele movie does really well. Deadpool, A Quiet Place, a lot more. But yeah, there's successful rated R movies, horror movies. Men in Black, the trilogy or something, or this is the original on 4K. I haven't seen this. I haven't seen any of the Men in Black movies. Another Men in Black Steelbook. Is that international? It's part 3. Then we've got Men in Black International right here. I've got like 2 because they're damaged, and then I had to order another one, and this one came damaged. I can't get a good, this one's got a dent, so yeah, they're all damaged. And then this one also came damaged. Men in Black trilogy. All right, continuing on, Minority Report. Nope, never seen that. Tom Cruise, right? Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. I have, I think I've only seen, here's another Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. I don't know why I have 2. I have a few doubles of stuff. I think I've only seen the original Mission Impossible, so I'm going to have to go through and watch this entire franchise, and they're still making them, I believe. Mission Impossible Fallout. I've heard they're still good. Like, they are still good. Never seen that one either. Morbius, I haven't watched this yet. I think Gus, shout out to Gus, I think he liked it a little bit. Mortal Engines, it was cheap at Best Buy. I don't know what this is. Don't ask me. Never seen it. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I'm curious, do you keep all your National Lampoon's movies under N, or, you know, like, would this go under C for you? There's a couple of those that are on the fence. But yeah, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, it's under N for me. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, another one. Finally, it grew on me. I rewatched it this past Christmas, and laughed my ass off with it. I watched it with my buddy Mike. Shout out to him. It was such a good night. We had such a good time together. Ordered some pizza and stuff, and watched that in Mischief. And it was on Christmas Eve, and I had a lot of fun with it. It could have been the company I was with, but it was a lot better than I remember. But I also didn't see Christmas Vacation as a kid, so that doesn't have that nostalgia factor to me. Nightmare Before Christmas, I've never seen it. Probably won't ever get around to that. But it's like a glow-in-the-dark Steelbook, and my buddy loves Jack Skeleton. Nightmare on Elm Street. This is the original. Yes, Freddy Krueger. Nice Steelbook there. I think this is the remake. I'm pretty sure. Never Sleep Again. This is the remake, I'm pretty sure. So, I love the original. I am not the biggest fan of Nightmare on Elm Street. I think it's an excellent film. I like Scream over Nightmare on Elm Street, but Wes Craven's one of my heroes, probably one of my favorite directors of all time. Nightmare on Elm Street's awesome. It's usually a movie like that wouldn't be my cup of tea. Like nightmares and stuff like dreams. That's not my thing, but I think it's an excellent movie. Little fun fact, in case you didn't know this, I found out about this from podcasts or special features in a movie. Wes Craven studied dreams in college. So I think he's done that and a few other like dream sequences. But yeah, he was a master of dreams. He studied dreams in college. Like he studied it like deep. So that's awesome. But the remake, I do not hate nearly as much as everybody else do. I think it's a good movie. No, not necessarily. I think they kind of make Freddy Krueger to be a pedophile in it, which is, I think, a lot of what people hate. I don't think Jackie Lee or Jackie Earl Haley or something like that is very good as Freddy Krueger. Then again, nobody else could play Freddy Krueger other than Robert Englund, but I didn't hate the remake. I actually, if I did a franchise ranking of Nightmare on Elm Street, like 6 would be worse than the remake for me. Like, I do not hate the remake as much as I do some of the sequels, to be honest with you. I just think 6 is dog crap. Nonstop. This has a huge, like, this is my only Steelbook that I have from, like, Zavi that, back in the day, they were really good, never dented their Steelbooks. This has got a huge dent. I think I've seen that once. Yeah, it was just okay for me. Nope. Another Jordan Peele movie. This has to be, even though it makes sense if you've seen the movie, it is, like, the darkest Steelbook. You can't even see this barely, right? Like, what does that look like to you? Crap, right? And then this just looks bad. It looks like a helmet to me, but it's not, because if you've seen the movie, you know what it is. It just looks blurry. This is hands down the worst $35 I ever spent, but obviously wanted it because I'm a Steelbook collector. But it is the worst. I don't see how it gets worse. This is the worst Steelbook I think own, and I think it is hands down, in my opinion, the worst Steelbook of 2022. I don't see how it could get worse than this. This Steelbook is just it's just nightmare. Terrible. Absolutely awful. No Time to Die. Like I said, I haven't seen this, but Ana de Armas is in this, so I would watch it just for her, right? I think, or is she in a different one? I don't know. She's in one of them. I can't see her find her on the back, but that looks like her. I thought she's in one of them. So there's that. We've got Ocean's 8. I have not seen this. I didn't necessarily care for Ocean's like 9 or 11 or 10 or whatever. Ocean's 12. Old. Something I enjoyed more than most people. The Steelbook's not the greatest. It makes sense when you watch the movie. But I'm looking forward to his new movie. But I didn't, M. Night Shyamalan, Damalang, whatever. But yeah, I didn't mind Old. I thought it was really cool. It's such a cool concept. It's really like, there's some disturbing moments. It comes together really cool at the end. Maybe some people predicted it. I didn't really. But it's just awesome. I think it's awesome. I think it's an awesome concept. I think it's original. And I always give like directors and writers credit for doing something original, especially in 2023. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is probably my least favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. I know some people it's their favorite. I've only watched it once. I'll have to rewatch it. But yeah, it's not my favorite. I didn't mind it. It's just not my favorite. I don't even think it's one of his better ones. And it's his latest one. Pet Sematary, the remake, awful. Terrible. One of the worst remakes of all time, but I've never even seen the original, but I hated it. I thought it was stupid. All right. The last two I'm going to do tonight are going to be Phantasm, which is, this is the remastered version of it. It is a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook. And I did just recently watch this for the first time, and I wasn't a big fan of it. My buddy Vinicio told me not to give up on the other ones just because I didn't like this one. He said the second and third, I think he said the second and third are even better. I think the second is his favorite, but I definitely have to give the rest, the sequels, a shot because I wasn't a big fan of this one. I didn't hate it, but I wasn't into it. It was very strange and not my cup of tea. And last for the night, this is just going to be part one, is going to be Pineapple Express here. I enjoyed this one. I saw it in theaters. I had fun with it. Not a big Danny McBride fan, of course, though, so he kind of ruins it for me. But it's fun. I do like Pineapple Express. It's a fun stoner movie. But that's going to be all for this video. It's a long one. That is part one. I've got part two, which will finish off my studio releases. I will go into some other studio releases that are part of collections. And also like my DC, my Marvel, Disney collection, things like that, which is all studio releases as well. So that is everything. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. It's a long one, and that's just part one. I'll get into part two, and then part three will be all like my boutique specialty labels and steel books with box sets and slipcovers and Lionsgate and things like that. So hopefully you enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see everyone next time. Thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate it if you're still here. Thank you so much. It's almost a 2-hour video, so I really appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'm hoping to be back on YouTube for good now. It just takes time to put out content. I don't have a ton of time, and I was just so busy, so swamped, but I really appreciate everyone that stayed subscribed to my channel, was patient with me. Thank you so much to everybody who kind of checked in on me. I'm hoping to get more collection videos out there, a part 2 and 3 of my Steelbooks. A movie room tour sometime in maybe late March or April. It could take a while. I don't want to do it until it's completely finished, and I don't have posters up or my collectibles or anything, and I really want to do that. So I also have a few more shelves to put up as well in the living room here. So thank you so much once again for your continued support, and I hope to roll out some more content, some more live streams in the future. Hopefully February is a nice and busy month for me. I'll be live on a couple other channels I know as well coming up. So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see everyone soon. And stay tuned to the channel for some live streams and some more content, part 2 of the Steelbooks. Have a great rest of your week and a great February.